And I have something nice of Judge Justice Ginsburg's to read tonight as part of the D'var Torah.
Oh, so, good.
Yeah. Well,
how appropriate. The best line that I read, well, maybe not the best, but the one that stuck with me was, "May her memory be for a revolution." I like that.
Rest in progress.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah.
I cannot take credit for may her memory be for a revolution. Okay, we're live.
All right. You want to people in? All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Temple Beth Zion via Zoom on a beautiful Shabbat evening where it is possible, as we can see, to still be outside. And we start, as we do every Shabbat, with good wishes, the warmth of our families together, even from afar, and Hine Ma Tov.
Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is to sit together as siblings. We continue with our candle lighting, and I know the cantor will be lighting candles and leading us.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshani b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. And we continue to welcome Shabbat with the singing of a Chadodi.
Lai lai la lai 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 la lai lai la lai la lai 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 la lai lai la lai la lai 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 la lai 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 la 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 lai lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Shama v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmi'anu elam yuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad Shem u'tiferet v'letila lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela likrat שבת, לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם, נצוך סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך, קומי אורי, 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 שידברי כבוד אדוני, עלייך נגלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני Shabbat nekavela. Please rise as we welcome Shabbat as if she were a bride. And as I am here outdoors, this is the exact way the Kabbalists intended for us to welcome Shabbat with Lecha Dodi. The sun is setting behind me, so we know that's not east. So I will be facing you the entire time because I am facing east. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha, u'v'tzola toch emuneh, am segula, boi chala. בואי חלה לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We continue with Chatzi Kaddish, our sacred bridge from Kabbalat Shabbat, the opening service to the main part of our service.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, אמן. בעמוד יברח חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי לכו בית ישראל. בגלו בזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל. שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה ולעילה, מגו בחדה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה. ויאמרו אמן.
We continue with Baruch Hu, our call to prayer.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai mevorach leolam va'id.
Her face shines with a light from beyond. She is crowned below by the holy people, and all of them are crowned with new souls. Then the beginning of prayer to bless her with joy and beaming faces.
Ever-living God, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, your glory will not depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Praised are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
All goodness and truth come from you, O God. May no transgressions estrange us from you, nor error darken our vision of your purposes. Help us to discern your justice and more fully understand your will. In adversity and prosperity, may your Torah be a lamp before us, illuminating our path. May we labor in your service so that our deeds become a living hymn of praise to you. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Praised are you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Ema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. If you are standing, you are invited to be seated as we continue on with the chanting of Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinadam levanecha v'dibata bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וכשאתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובישעריך, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Trust in the Eternal One with all your heart, and do not rely only upon your own limited understanding. Remember God's commandments and do them, that you do not follow only your own heart and your own eyes. God has redeemed us from the hands of oppressors and revived our spirits when our own strength failed us. God's works and wonders surpass our understanding. God's gifts and blessings are without number. We rejoice in God's sovereign power. We praise and give thanks unto the Eternal One.
מי כמוך ואלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מלכותך ראו בניך בוקר יום לפני משה ומרים זה לי אנו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלום יד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Shemo.
כל ישראל.
Amen. So we continue with our learning in the month of Elul, which spilled over into the month of Tishrei because we only had 3 Friday night services in Elul without a bat or bar mitzvah. So we extended our 4 parts into Tishrei. This week's Torah portion is Ha'azinu, and here is a quote from somewhere in the middle of the portion near the end. It says, Lu hachmu yaskilu zot yavinu la'acharitam. Echa yirdof achar 1,002 yanisu revava im lo ki tzuram mechoram varonai hiskiram lo ki lo chitzorenu tzuram. If they were wise, they would contemplate this. They would understand their future. How can one pursue 1,002, put myriad to flight, unless their rock had sold them out, Adonai had handed them over, for not like their rock is our rock. We have Moses talking to the Israelites on behalf of God, saying, if only you knew how much I am with you, if only you knew how great was the power behind you, if only you knew that the only way you would fail is if you lacked the understanding, the wisdom of how much I would be with you if you only embraced me. And so at the end of these 4 weeks of thinking about anti-racism and how we struggle with white supremacy, we're faced with this question of, is it too big? Is it too huge for us to grapple with? How do we move from our own personal work to tackling what is an immense system of difficulty? And our author for this, our advisor for this journey says, Leila Saad says, systems do not change people unless the people who uphold them change. And each person is responsible for upholding the system. So it is our responsibility within ourselves, our communities, our educational institutions, our corporations, and our government institutions to do the work that we can do every day to create the change the world needs by creating changes within ourselves. And of course, on this week, at this incredible time where we are both in the middle of deep reflection and deep mourning, in terms of tackling the biggest of issues, I couldn't turn to a better advisor than Ruth Bader Ginsburg. 4 years ago, this coming week, on October 1st, 2016, she gave us advice for living. And I quote the entirety because she is better at this than I am. Did you always want to be a judge, or more exorbitantly, a Supreme Court justice? School children visiting me at the court, as they do at least weekly, asked that question more than any other. It is a sign of huge progress made. To today's youth, judgeship as an aspiration for a girl is not at all outlandish. Contrast the ancient days, the fall of 1956 when I entered law school, women accounted for less than 3% of the legal profession in the United States, and only 1 woman had ever served on a federal appellate court. Today, 4 years ago, about half the nation's law students and more than 1/3 of our federal judges are women, including 3 of the justices seated on the United States Supreme Court bench. Women hold more than 30% of law school deanships in the United States and serve as general counsel to 24% of Fortune 500 companies. In my long life, I have seen great changes. How fortunate I was to be alive and a lawyer when, for the first time in United States history, it became possible to urge successfully before legislators and courts the equal citizenship stature of women and men as a fundamental constitutional principle. Feminists, caring men among them, had sought just that for generations. Until the late 1960s, however, society was not prepared to heed their plea. What enabled me to take part in the effort to free our daughters and sons to achieve whatever their talents equipped them to accomplish with no artificial barriers blocking their way? First, a mother who, by her example, made reading a delight and counseled me constantly to be independent, able to fend for myself, whatever fortune might have in store for me. Second, teachers who influenced or encouraged me in my growing up years. At Cornell University, where, by the way, she was a classmate of our own Wayne Wisbaum of blessed memory, my professor of European literature, Vladimir Nabokov, changed the way I read, Vladimir Nabokov, changed the way I read and the way I write. Words could paint pictures I learned from him. Choosing the right word and the right word order, he illustrated, could make an enormous difference in conveying an image or an idea. At Columbia Law School, my professor of constitutional law and federal courts, Gerald Gunther, was determined to place me in a federal court clerkship despite what was then viewed as a grave impediment. On graduation, I was the mother of a 4-year-old child. After heroic efforts, Professor Gunther succeeded in that mission. Another often asked question when I speak in public: do you have some good advice you might share with us? Yes, I do. It comes from my savvy mother-in-law, advice she gave me on my wedding day. In every good marriage she counseled, it helps sometimes to be a little deaf. I have followed that advice assiduously, and not only at home through 56 years of a marital partnership non-pariah, I have employed it as well in every workplace, including the Supreme Court. When a thoughtless or unkind word is spoken, best tune out. Reacting in anger or annoyance will not advance one's ability to persuade. Aside from my father-in-law, advice from my father-in-law has also served me well. He gave it during my gap years, 1954 to 1956, when my husband Marty was fulfilling his obligation to the Army as an artillery officer at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. By the end of 1954, my pregnancy was confirmed. We looked forward to becoming 3 people in July 1955, but I worried about starting law school the next year with an infant to care for. Father's advice: Ruth, if you don't want to start law school, you have a good reason to resist the undertaking. No one will think the less of you if you make that choice. But if you really want to study law, you will stop worrying and find a way to manage child and school. And so Marty and I did, by engaging a nanny on school days from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. Work-life balance was a term not yet coined in the years my children were young. It is aptly descriptive of the time distribution I experienced. My success in law school, I have no doubt, was in large measure because of baby Jane. I attended classes and studied diligently until 4 in the afternoon. The next hours were Jane's time, spent at the park, playing silly games or singing funny songs, reading picture books and A.A. Milne poems, and bathing and feeding her. After Jane's bedtime, I returned to the law books with renewed will. Each part of my life provided respite from the other and gave me a sense of proportion that classmates trained only on law studies lacked. I have had more than a little bit of luck in life, but nothing equals in magnitude my marriage to Martin D. Ginsburg. I do not have words adequate to describe my super smart, exuberant, ever-loving spouse. Early on in our marriage, it became clear to him that cooking was not my strong suit. To the eternal appreciation of our food-loving children, we became 4 in 1965 when our son James was born. Marty made the kitchen his domain and became chef supreme in our home. Marty coached me through the birth of our son. He was the first reader and critic of articles, speeches, and briefs I drafted, and he was at my side constantly, in and out of the hospital during 2 long bouts with cancer. And I betray no secret in reporting that without him, I would not have gained a seat on the Supreme Court. Ron Klain, then Associate White House Counsel, said of my 1993 nomination, I would say definitely and for the record, though Ruth Bader Ginsburg should have been picked for the Supreme Court anyway, she would not have been picked for the Supreme Court if her husband had not done everything he did to make it happen. That everything included gaining the unqualified support of my home state senator, Daniel Patrick Moynihan, and enlisting the aid of many members of the legal academy and practicing bar familiar with work I had done. I have several times said that the office I hold now for more than 23 years is the best and most consuming job a lawyer anywhere could have. The court's main trust is to repair fractures in federal law. Because the court grants review dominantly when other jurists have divided on the meaning of a statutory or constitutional prescription, the questions we take up are rarely easy. They seldom have indubitably right answers. Yet by reasoning together at our conferences and with more depth and precision through circulation of and responses to draft opinions, we ultimately agree far more often than we divide sharply. When a justice is of the firm view that the majority got it wrong, she is free to say so in dissent. I take advantage of that prerogative when I think it important, as do my colleagues. Despite our strong disagreements on cardinal issues, think, for example, of controls on political campaign spending, affirmative action, access to abortion, we genuinely respect one another, even enjoy one another's company. Collegiality is crucial to the success of our mission. We could not do the job the Constitution assigns to us if we didn't. To use one of Justice Antonin Scalia's favorite expressions, get over it. Earlier, I spoke of great changes I have seen in women's occupations, yet one must acknowledge the still bleak part of the picture. Most people in poverty in the United States and the world over are women and children. Women's earnings here and abroad trail the earnings of men with comparable education and experience. Our workplaces do not adequately accommodate the demands of childbearing and child rearing, and we have yet to devise effective ways to ward off sexual harassment at work and domestic violence in our homes. I am optimistic, however, that movement toward enlistment of the talent of all who compose We the People will continue. And God only knows if Justice Ginsburg, with all she did, with all she faced, with all she accomplished, could be optimistic in the face of everything. What would come next? Then so must we all. We must all understand that God is with us when we pursue creative means, when we pursue things with justice and integrity, and that is what we must do together to make small changes in our lives that turn into big changes, that emulate the model of our most beloved and dearly departed Supreme Court Justice, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And in her name, we now turn to our prayer for protection, our Hashivenu, and hope and pray for protection for everyone as we move into this new year together. Grant us, Adonai, our God, laying down in peace, and raise us up, our sovereign, to life. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Praised are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people, Israel, and over Jerusalem. If you are comfortable rising, we invite you to do so and face east if you know where it is for our tefillah. Cantor, we can't hear you.
Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VaNorah, El גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך שמו,
מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה.
אמן.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל, אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הדל, מחכר חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל, ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. מי כמוך אב הרחמים, זוכה יצריו רחמים לחיים, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני
וברוך שמו,
מחיי הכל.
אמן.
הקדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. Baruch atah Adonai, HaMelech HaKadosh. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the Holy Sovereign. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Makadesh HaShabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shechinato l'tzion. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Inscribe all the children of your covenant for a good life. Praised are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha uchana'el lahodot.
If you are still standing, seated as we offer our song, our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav.
Tasim le'olam, Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, Tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, Tasim le'olam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol leit ubechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, Tasim le'olam. B'sefer Chaim bracha v'shalom u'farnasa tova nizacher v'nikatev lefanecha. Anachnu v'chol amcha Beit Yisrael lechaim tovim, lechaim tovim u'lishalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha, Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Baruch atah Adonai, Osei Shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamvarech et amo Yisrael, Bashalom.
We take a few moments for silent prayer and reflection.
Ose shalom, shalom bimromav, yase shalom. Ose shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yase shalom. Hu yase shalom. Shalom aleinu v'achko Yisrael v'yimeru amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yase shalom. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yase shalom. Hu yase shalom. Shalom aleinu v'chako Yisrael v'yimeru amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. Hu yase shalom.
At this time, our hearts, in this moment of elevated sanctity and togetherness, even from afar, reach out to those who cannot join us in person, who are struggling with illness, those who are struggling with COVID-19, with the coronavirus, those who are struggling to heal, those who are in need of healing wherever they may be it spiritual healing or mental healing, physical healing. Our hearts and minds reach out to them all. And so in our own community, we in particular remember these people who are in need of healing: Doug Baker, Des Del Barba, Alvin Bendis, Ed Berger, Melvin Block, Maxine Balmer, Katie Berg, Megan Carney Cranmer, Etta Finanziani, Linda Frankshaw, David Frauman, Sharon Frauman, Saul Glinna, Ren Hauser, Howard Hilfstein, Myra Horowitz, Tracy Jacobowitz, Jerry Liederman, Eugene Lesser, the Mara family, James Nicholson, Susan Reynes, Sheila Ross, Yetta Rubin, Barbara Satkin, Ruth Schopp, John Schuler, Sandy Seide, Sandra Shapiro, Miriam Sherman, Helene Steinhardt, Elliot Tate, Andy Weiner, Jerry Weiner, Mark Yablin, Linda Zemmel, Neil Zions, Luma Bat Rachel Va'adia, Yitzhak Chaim Ben Miriam, and we are so appreciative that our dear friend Reverend Denise Walden is recovering and doing better after her bout with COVID. For all of them, we turn to our Misha Berach and sing and pray for their healing.
Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov, Misha berach imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May the pain and loneliness we're feeling be diminished by the power of your love. Misheberach avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Misheberach imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
Rabbi, you're muted.
We say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech, Baruch atah Adonai rofeh hacholim, praised are you, Adonai, healer of the sick. And we continue with announcements and greetings from Melody Weinman, who is one of the vice presidents of our board of trustees. And we have a look at our website so that everyone can see all the things that are going on, if I can pull it up. So, Melody, are you here?
Yes, I am. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Melody Ortiz Weinman. I am a member of the Board of Trustees for Temple Bet Zion. Welcome to our congregants and our guests present this evening. All events can be found starting at www.tbz.org. There you can find the links to the high holiday services, as I believe the rabbi is pointing out right now. So the memorial service, which will be Sunday at noon at Forest Lawn, Section Z. Attendees are asked to wear masks and adhere to social distancing protocols. Service also available via Zoom. Go to tbz.org for that link. Kol Nidre service, Erev Yom Kippur service starts at 8 p.m. that Sunday. Yom Kippur is 10:30 on Monday morning. Yom Kippur afternoon is at 2 via Zoom. There's going to be a special Yom Kippur musical interlude from 2 to 3 p.m. It's not to be missed. On FM 94.5. A lot of work was done to get this special event put on the radio, and thanks to TBZ, the whole Jewish community will be able to enjoy it. Yom Kippur Mincha service is 3:15. Yom Kippur Yisker and Neila service starts at 4:30. If you missed the Rosh Hashanah services, you can still catch the alternative morning service and the Tot service. So if you want a shorter or longer, you can figure it out. Also, for those families with younger children, there is a special Yom Kippur Tot service that's on demand. So in the morning, in the evening, whenever you want to watch it with the children. Regular services will be via Zoom, Fridays at 6, Saturdays at 10:30. Torah study is Saturdays at 9:15. Regular learning with the rabbi via Zoom is Wednesdays at 11:30 a.m. And finally, if you reserved the feast before the fast dinner, drive-through pickup is at the Broder Center. Again, that's the Broder Center, 700 Sweet Home Road, this Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. It'll be contactless, hopefully. You can pop your trunk, open the passenger back seat and back door, and the volunteers will help put your dinner in for you. The Wymans would like to wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom and a meaningful fast starting Sunday evening for Yom Kippur. Thank you to our clergy team for tonight's Shabbat service.
Thank you so much, Imelda, and thank you to the Wyman family for all of your generosity and support. And thank you to everybody.
I would like to just add one more thing just about the musical interlude, because I think it's very important for our community to know that Anna Marie Richmond arranged with WNED, with WBFO, to have an hour of Jewish music. For those who are familiar with that musical interlude occurring on Yom Kippur Day with the Westwood Quartet, all members of the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra, that after several consultations with WNED, that I gave them a listing of a robust catalog of all Jewish music. And it's something they have never done. And at the last piece that will be played is actually Avinu Malkeinu by our own Max Yanofsky, a blessed memory, that I recorded with the Buffalo Gay Men's Chorus a few years ago. And for them to play an hour of pure Jewish music like Chichester Psalms and traditional Chazanut is absolutely incredible, and incredible visibility to our community. And yes, principal cellist Roman Mechanulov will be playing Kol Nidre in our sanctuary, properly socially distanced this year.
Thank you.
Wonderful and exciting. And as we are coming together for Kol Nidre and for Yom Kippur, as we came together for Rosh Hashanah, as we continue to come together, we come together with a vision of hope, a vision for the future, a vision of the work that we must do, God willing, accomplished and made into something better when we do it well. And so if you're comfortable rising and facing east one more time, I invite you to do so for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה לארצי בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Never forget that justice is what love looks like in public.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהי אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
As Cantor reminded us on Rosh Hashanah, people who pass away during the High Holy Day period are considered a tzaddik, an extra righteous person. And in addition to Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, we have had several within the Buffalo Jewish community as well who have passed away during these Yamim Noraim, these 10 days. One of whom is my good friend, Grace Bluestone, who has written a number of pieces throughout her 97 years. And I'm going to share one of her Kaddish pieces with you right now. Grace wrote, I am a tear, so small, yet big enough to wash away the if only, and the I wish, to leave the memories and the strength. The love is here, the lessons and the faith. You are not alone, for who made you who you are? Today, we send our condolences to the families of Raymond Fales, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Sally Tybal, Sanford Zeman. We are in the period of Shiva for Grace Bluestone, and we are still in Shloshim, 30 days of intensive mourning for Paul Friedman, Toby Lintz, Wolf Jeffrey Ostroff, Yadon Wolfson. It is the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the passing of David Abrams, Robert L. Algaze, Ernestine Ament, Mildred Weil Ballo, Hyman Benetovich, Eugene S. Berman, Anna M. Block, Rose B. Blumenthal, Isaac Borg, Samuel M. Brown, Sophia Fox Brown, Leo Berwick, Lillian G. Cohen, Nat L. Cohen, Jacob L. Davis, Sarah Ehrenreich, Max Field, Robert Fishman, Melanie Flintrowitz, Samuel H. Frank, Irving Gorelick, Hannah Fass Gerson, Marvin Gerstmann, Edna Gladner, Harold Jacobs, Mildred Barman Lazarus, Harold Lerman, Dr. Harold Levy, Pauline Lewis, Dr. John Hosea Maisel, Sophia Manoff, Isidore Melzer, Audrey Wall Miller, Susan J. Morris, Lillian Peckhoff, Arnold Rickler, Irma Davis Rosen, Irving M. Rosenblatt, Leopold Rothschild, Samuel Ryback, David A. Silverman, Dr. Edgar Slotkin, Blanche V. Stein, Gerald S. Stern, Dorothy A. Sussman, Bertha Yablin. If there are other names that should have been mentioned, people perhaps for whom you are saying Kaddish this week, please keep them in your hearts. And if it is your custom to recite Kaddish with the mourners, please join me. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ba'alma divrah chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayachonu v'yomechonu v'chayei d'chal Beit Yisrael. Ba'agalau v'zman karei v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah m'varach le'olam u'lomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar v'yit ala v'yit halal. Shmei d'kudusha brichu. La'elah min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Da'amiran ba'alma v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. May the source of peace bring wholeness to us, to our community, to the whole world, comfort all the bereaved among us, and let us say together, friends. Amen.
Amen. As we gather for Kiddush, Cantor, there, please, take the mic.
Yeah, I know. Okay. It's a well-loved mic, I suppose. So you all can hear me as if you're not tired of hearing me. I know. You want to lead?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'rotzavanu v'shabbat kadsho b'achava uvratzon hinhiltanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom tehillah lemikra kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodecha b'achava uvratzon hinheltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim tovim al shoma kol Yisrael mine.
Amotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Amotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Amen. Shabbat shalom indeed. And I offer us these words from Abraham Joshua Heschel. Judaism is a religion of time, aiming at the sanctification of time. Unlike the space-minded person to whom time is unvaried, iterative, repetitive, homogeneous, all the same, to whom all hours are alike, qualityless, empty shells. Torah senses the diversified character of time. There are no 2 hours alike. Every hour is unique and the only one given at the moment, exclusive and endlessly precious. May all of us do well this Shabbat to make our time precious, to find gems and treasures in every moment, to make this year a good year. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Lishana tova tikatevu, Lishana tova tikatemu, Lishana tova tikatevu, Lishana tova tikatevu, Lishana tova tikatemu, Lishana tova tichatemu. Gemar Chatima Tova and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.